our service to over 100,000 Central Oklahomans. We've been providing affordable, reliable electric service since 1937, and we've now connected over 40,000 subscribers to high-speed internet, TV, and phone services. We're proud to continue the tradition of excellence, affordability, and reliability for those we serve across Central Oklahoma. We know when our communities thrive, we thrive. Visit okcoop.org or oecfiber.com to experience the difference. OEC and OEC Fiber, that's the power of connection.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Cindy Nasher is your go-to agent in Norman for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has you covered. Call 405-307-0500 for surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
SEC football is underway, and Balfour of Norman on Campus Corner has what you need to support your Sooners. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour is a favorite for OU fans. If you're going to a game, tailgating, or attending a watch party, come see the latest in Sooner fashion. You'll find polos, tees, jerseys, jackets, and other cold weather gear, and even some bling for her. Balfour has sizes for the youngest to oldest Sooner fans, from great brands like Jordan, Nike, Champion, Antigua, Hype and Vice, Zuzats, and many others. Something for everyone. Additionally, you'll find a great selection of tailgating supplies, from serving pieces to paper plates to grilling accessories. The gift selection is beyond what you would expect with wall art, outdoor decorations, including flags and banners, OU automotive items, and even Sooner golf accessories. If it says OU, Balfour probably has it. Their friendly staff is available to help you find just what you need. So stop by and say hi on your way to the game or anytime. Or shop online at crimsonbrown.com, where you'll find everything Sooner.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
All right, guys, let's get serious for a bit. It's Tuesday of OU Texas week. Can we really let the hate flow this hour, please? I'm encouraging the hate. I'm encouraging the hate on the text line. I'm encouraging the hate on the YouTube live chat. Hate, hate, hate is what I want this hour. Make fun of their coach. Make fun of their former players. Make fun of that D-bag minister of culture that they have in the sidelines and in the huddle of every time out during the basketball games. I don't care what it is. You hate Texas just as much as I do. So let's let the hate flow today on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Is there anything wrong with that, Parker, for asking people to really start the hate to flow on this Tuesday? I mean, come on. I'm ready.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with it,
Let's
Tyler.
make it feel like an OU Texas week.
That's what good rivalries are about, and this is one of the best. It's about pure, unadulterated hatred.
It's like you fight with these people all year on social media, and then you get to the fair with them, and they're like, hey, man, what'd you think about us going to the SEC? Why are you trying to talk to me? I don't like you. I'm not friends with you. I'm not like you. Get away from me. You're an arrogant fan base that everyone in collegiate sports hates. Don't try to be friends with me on the biggest day of the year for both programs. Go away. I hate you people. Don't talk to me at the fair. You stay on your side and I'll stay on mine, and we'll call it good at the end of the day. I just want this to start feeling like an OU Texas week, and maybe because we talked about it so much last week, but today is the day that we really start to get the hate in for that god-awful burnt orange on the other end of the Cotton Bowl. And as requested, and if you've ever listened to any of our shows, then you know immediately the text line's going to get hopping, and here we go. Drew from Flower Mound, Tyler McComa's favorite coach in the United States is Mike White. That is uncalled for, Drew. That's my least favorite head coach in the United States, Mike White. Man. Travis from California says, so basically F Texas and that drunk A coach Sark. Boy, that's a heck of a start, isn't it?
Burley Boomer says Sark likes mustard on his tuna sandwich.
Disgusting. Simple Sam, only Texas quarterback to go 1-5. Says Brian from
actually
Maryland.
1-4, but yes, point taken. Sam Ellinger.
He lost to, what, 4 different OU quarterbacks? Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Spencer Rattler. / Tanner Mordecai.
Oh, gosh.
He lost to 4.5 OU quarterbacks in there.
Brian from Maryland says, Casey Thompson saw the light. You don't see the other way around.
One-star Shark, recent Texas graduated football players go back and play in the band as much as they've blown this past decade. Very nice. Yes, Zach from Clinton, I woke up and chose violence today. As we all should. We talk mess on these fools for the entire year. We get to play them on Saturday. Let's go, man. I've got some fact or fiction questions, not about recruiting, but about this game to you, while we get more and more of the hate on YouTube Live and on the text line. Gotcha. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these bad boys, okay? Fact or fiction number 1. Eli will be the Bowen that makes the biggest impact in the game on Saturday. Get a smile real big from Parker when I asked that one. Which Bowen does he love more? I don't know. That's a tough one.
I'm saying fact.
Eli has the bit. I mean, Peyton had a pretty big impact on the game a year ago.
He did, and I expect him to again. I expect Peyton Bowen to make a play or two, but I think whether it is indicated in the post-game box score or not, I think Eli Bowen's going to have a tremendous impact on this game because I think he's Oklahoma's best cornerback, and I don't think you can put a price tag on just having a guy out there that you trust to lock down Isaiah Bond or Silas Bolden or whichever matchup he draws. I think Eli Bowen's going to hold his own.
Fact or fiction, Michael Hawkins is the leading rusher. OU had a quarterback as the leading rusher a year ago. Fact or fiction, it's going to happen again this year.
Fact. I'm with it. I think Michael Hawkins is going to need to have a big day with his legs. What does that look like? I'm not saying he needs to go for 120 like Dylan Gabriel did last year.
I think he's most capable of hitting on a big play in the run game. I mean, so far that checks out, right? I mean, he has the longest run of the year, that opening offensive drive at Auburn. So I would tend to say fact as well, just because I don't think he'll necessarily have the most carries. And hopefully Barnes and Tatum can do some good on the ground, but I just think Hawkins is most likely to pop a big run in this game.
And I'd agree. And I think at some point he's going to have to, because there will come times in this football game where he doesn't have anywhere to go with the football, and the pocket starts to break down, and he's going to have to take off and make something happen with his legs in order to move the chains, keep a drive alive, whatever it may be. Michael Hawkins' running ability is what's going to enable Oklahoma's offense to have a shot in this football game.
Fact or fiction, he made a couple of big plays against Auburn. It's going to happen again on Saturday. J.J. Hester is going to be your leading receiver. It's going to be somebody. Might as well be J.J. Hester.
My answer is fiction. On that one.
Who you got?
Man, I hate some people are not going to like to hear me go back to this well again because they're like, well, I want to see it. I get that. I want to see it too. But Michael Hawkins and Brennan Thompson had such good chemistry in fall camp. There was that opportunity for a shot play against Auburn, what could have been a long touchdown pass, and Hawkins overshoots it. But, man, as much as Michael Hawkins wants to beat Texas, how much do you think Brennan Thompson wants to beat Texas this weekend?
Probably badly. Probably very badly.
And he didn't get to play in this game a year ago. He dressed out, but he didn't play in the game. I've got a feeling Brennan Thompson has a day, the best day of his OU career thus far on Saturday.
Fact or fiction, this part is fact. Texas is one of 3 college football teams that have not trailed at any point this year. I believe the 3 Texas, Indiana, and Army are the 3 that have not trailed at any point this year. Fact or fiction, for the first time this year, Texas will trail in a football game.
Fact. In fact, I think they'll be trailing when the final horn sounds.
Whoa! You're picking OU?
Yeah, I'm picking OU.
You are? This is it. Picking OU.
Yeah,
outright.
absolutely.
Dadgum. Look at this. Fact or fiction? We got a score prediction from Parker Thune. Oklahoma's going to win the thing.
That's what, Tuesday?
Hey, yeah,
I know
Tuesday.
that there are those that won't make their picks until later in the week. Steely's probably going to wait till 3 minutes before he's off the air Friday, so he doesn't have to face the music for picking Texas like he'll inevitably do. Or he inevitably will, excuse me. But, man, I don't know why, man. I feel good about this game for Oklahoma. I feel like they're going to come out with something to prove. They're going to come out fired up, and I trust that some of the early mistakes that have plagued them, albeit in wins, like you think about 2021, Oklahoma did not get off to a good start.
Worst start
2023,
possible.
They did not. I mean, Gentry Williams had the pick. They scored first, sure, but then they gave all the momentum right back on that blocked punt that was recovered in the end zone for a Texas touchdown. So, to me, if you can win the first quarter, Tyler, that sets you up very well for the final 45 minutes of football. And I believe that Oklahoma comes out of the gate hot, and I believe they get it done on Saturday.
Text line's rolling right now. Our Texas fan troll, Recruiting Doomer 2, is currently on there now. We'll get to that individual shortly. I've got two more, though. Let's say that it is a tie game with 45 seconds left. Let's say it's a tie game with 3 seconds left, and OU is going to attempt a 35-yard field goal for the win.
Okay.
The kicker that trots out on the field will be none other than Smith Show coming in for the game winner.
Fiction, it's Tyler Kellner.
What a redemption story that would be if Zach Schmidt comes in and nails the game winner at the gun. It would be beautiful. You think Keltner's starting on Saturday?
I think it's Kellner.
All right. Fact or fiction, OU will score 24 or more in this football game? I guess
fact.
Okay.
I'm going fact. And I think more than 24 points wins you a football game.
I think more than 24 points gives you a fantastic chance to win. As I've said a couple of times this week already, technically the defense gave up 23 points last year because Texas' first touchdown was off that block punt. They gave up 23 as a defense last year, forced 3 turnovers, and I think this year's defense is better than last year's defense. I don't really think anyone's going to fight me on that
and to me,
one.
that's what it is. Like, again, and this is the type of deal where you have to a certain extent, discount what you feel like you know about these two teams. But one of the things we do know is that Oklahoma's better defensively than they were a year ago. Is Texas better offensively than they were a year ago, Tyler?
I still think they're pretty good, but they don't have they've got a lot of they're spreading the ball around a lot. I feel like at wide receiver this year, but I don't feel like they have a Xavier Worthy or an A.D. Mitchell, or at least not what I've seen. So I would tend to say probably no to that. Again, I don't think that they're a bad offense. I clearly think that they're a good offense, but I would tend to say no to that.
Mike S. asks, has Parker watched a different offense than the rest of us? No, I've watched the same offense you have watched, and it has not been terribly impressive, but it's going to turn the corner at some point, and I trust that point is this Saturday in the Cotton Bowl. And, man, I just have gotten this vibe. And it's the same vibe I got leading up to the game last year in talking to folks around the program. There was just a very stable, very unwavering confidence leading into that game last year, even as Texas was favored by multiple possessions. It was, hey, look, we're going to win the football game. And it's very much that same demeanor this season, which leads me
quiet
to believe
confidence is what it feels like.
I think they can go get it done on Saturday.
Texas fan troll says Parker with 3 laughing face emojis, and then a gif of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. It says excellent on it. Loves the confidence level that we're showing right now. Very nice. Puerto Rican Sooner, Ewers eats hot dogs without chewing. Jason N. says, I feel about this game too, Parker. I think our defense controls the game and gets after Quinn Ewers.
Then the Waffler said, man, if I had Toby's soundboard right now, I'd be pushing the Mike Gundy saying, you're a total homer button to Parker right now. Come on, Waffler. Waffle for me. Waffle to the OU side.
I got to say, I'm very disappointed at this text, and I like Reform Sooner. Reform Sooner's on the text line every single day, but this is not what I'm looking for on Tuesday of OU Texas Week. I prefer to talk trash after a win, not before, where you run the risk of looking like an idiot. Yeah, you got to have some confidence, man. You got to have some confidence this week. You got to talk that trash all year long, right? Don't just talk it after you win the football game. You got to talk the trash leading up to the game. Who cares if you look like an idiot or not? Talk trash last year, you end up winning as a big underdog. So, got to have some confidence, guys. Come on.
Chonky Chuck says, Texas is the most uninteresting, ugly, stupid, pathetic, weak, soft pushover, potato sack wearing group of shysters to walk the face of the earth.
Very well said, Chonky Chuck.
He hit every single adjective there.
And I think they're all in correct order, by the way, in the exact order that I would arrange them.
Oh, man. Blacktop Billy says, cancel Reformed Sooner. He has no backbone.
Yeah, that's disappointed me a little bit. I mean, just saying. Wanted a little bit of energy today. Want a little confidence on this Tuesday, right? And that's what we got. Sean from Bixby says, will Pole Assassin be at the game? Pole Assassin no longer apparently goes by Pole Assassin. She has removed her stage name.
So now she's just Mrs. Banks?
She's just Mrs. Banks, I guess, She's turned into a housewife, I guess, It can't happen. No more Pole Assassin. She let us know that a couple of months ago. Unbelievable. I got to pre-read a lot of these. I mean, I did ask for this.
Yeah, you did ask for this.
But
you created this problem for yourself.
Gunny says Sark is the kind of guy that enjoys drinking hot dog water. Oh, God, the thought of that is awful. Nice one, Gunny. 405, yay, the sunshine pumping part of the week. Come on, can we just move on from this? It's tiring. Well, you want us to be negative the entire week going in this? Oklahoma sucks.
Shoot, I don't even know why they bothered.
Oh, my God.
I don't even know why they bother showing up, Tyler.
Oh, my God. I mean, we really had to
14-point underdogs.
I hate OU Texas week. It sucks. An underdog never wins this game. The better team on paper always wins. It's just, yeah, OU sucks. They're going to lose this game by 4 touchdowns.
For the letdown on Saturday.
Yeah, what riveting radio that'll frickin' be right there. Come on, man. What's the deal here? I mean, I get it hasn't been ideal up to this point. I understand that, but we do have to acknowledge that OU's defense pretty dadgum good, man, and I think that they're good enough to keep you in some games. Are we just going to lay down and accept defeat like a bunch of losers this year or what? God, this is not what this program was built on, and that's not what this program has been for the entirety of my existence. Can we at least have a little positivity going into this week? And I think most people are. There's just a few Debbie Downers out there that are disappointing, man.
JP Sooner says, J.J. Hester's catch and miss plus the long bomb cured his yips. So nonfiction J.J. is about to come into his own.
Look, I hope the yips have been cured. He did have the drops on the first game of the year. If you want to use that, JP Sooner, I'll at least and try to play along with you a little bit here. Jaden Gibson had the yips, and it was an incredible catch against Arkansas State week 1 last year that really, I know that he didn't have 40 catches or anything like that, but Jaden Gibson was kind of like a highlight reel player every time he got thrown the ball. So, yeah, maybe he makes a catch down the field, and maybe he's about to turn into a legitimate wide receiver for this team. They're going to have it on Saturday, that's for sure.
Wishbone says, we're going to kick Texas's arse and steal their girlfriends, and they're going to like it.
I mean, that's better.
You want a UT
thank you.
girl, though?
I know what Quinn Ewers wants.
Oh, yeah.
Quinn Ewers doesn't. Quinn Ewers doesn't.
How long has he been dating that girl? It's been a while, hasn't it?
We feel like we heard about that a couple of years ago. That's yeah. Chonky Chuck says the ref is founded on hate. This week it is. Definitely. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. A lot of text to get to, a lot of this football game to get to as well. A lot of homerism to get to, apparently, on this Tuesday. How dare us come up with reasons why Oklahoma can win this game. Got a little recruiting as well. We'll do it all next right here on The Ref.
Hey, this is Luke Elzinga, and you're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Fowler Automotive is proud to be a part of your community, where our passion and values lie far beyond the showroom. We believe that families, sports, art, and culture are at the heart of every thriving community, and it's important to us that we help build the communities that our dealerships call home. Stop by any of our 6 Oklahoma dealerships to see the Fowler Standard hard at work. We pride ourselves on being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us every day. Fowler Automotive, a proud partner of OU Athletics.
Auto Image USA, Central Oklahoma, and Norman's home for the best in car, boat, and RV detailing. Let Mike Miller and his gang help you out with one of their many services, plus roll and lock truck covers, window tinting, custom wheels and rims, detailing, and paint correction. Auto Image USA also carries the best brands in audio such as Kicker, Wet Sound, Pioneer, and Sony. Call Auto Image USA at 405-321-4444 or go by and see one of their experts at 2701 Northwest 36th Avenue in Norman between Rock Creek and Tecumseh.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Get ready for a month of scares at Heyday. Try our Halloween-themed drinks or enter to win our digital costume contest. Looking to up the fright factor? Check out Heyday After Dark. Play thrilling zombie laser tag and enjoy our haunted happy hour every Friday and Saturday from 9 p.m. to close. It's time to get in the spooky spirit the Heyday way.
Hey, Sooner fans. It's Jonathan Jackson here. Yeah, the same JJ who used to wreak havoc on offenses every Saturday. Now, I'm fighting in a different arena, the courtroom. If you've been hurt in an accident, I'll sack those insurance companies and make sure you get the justice you deserve. Remember, it's simple. Get help, get justice, get JJ Law. Call me at 855-GET-JJ-LAW. That's 855-GET-JJ Law. On the field or in the courtroom, I've always got your back.
At Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and safe. And that means safe at home, at school, and online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org.
If you're caring for someone with COPD, you probably have a lot of questions. Caregivers juggle many roles. The right resources can help. The COPD Caregivers Toolkit is a free resource that provides information about COPD to help you prepare for doctor visits, support a healthy home, and take care of yourself. Visit nhlbi.nih.gov/COPD-caregivers.
Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the ref for the home of Sooner fans. 405-651-3439. Kenneth Chevrolet text line. It took an antidote of confidence for Minnesota to beat USC last Saturday. Have you seen this?
I have seen that yet. Wasn't it basically just Sprite?
It was a Sprite capsule, essentially. And I guess PJ Fleck, which this sounds like the most PJ Fleck thing of all time, gave his team an antidote of confidence last Wednesday after their loss to Michigan before the USC game. They drank the capsules, which contained Sprite. And then they upset USC on Saturday. So that's all it takes to beat Muleshoe.
Maybe Muleshoe should try an antidote of closeness.
He's been on that for years, hasn't he?
He has. He should try it on his team.
Unbelievable. Good job. Yeah, the capsule of Sprite was good enough for Minnesota in that 4th and goal there on the goal line. Okay, so when I say to you historic OU-Texas recruiting battles, like there's a lot of names that come to mind.
There's one in particular.
A very new name from 2025? Is that what you're thinking? Or
No,
are you
I was thinking all time. I was thinking
Peterson?
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the more prominent ones. If you talk about guys currently on the roster at either place, obviously Colton Vasek flipped from Oklahoma to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe McKenzie flipped from Oklahoma to Texas and then back to Oklahoma. Jaquez Petaway was a battle that came down to OU and Texas. He chose OU. DJ Campbell was down between OU and Texas. He ended up choosing Texas. And, I mean, the list goes on and on. That's not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination. Danny Okoye, that's another guy. That
Sure.
OU,
Texas, and Tennessee. Yeah, we're
his
history.
Final 3.
Earl Campbell, of course, that's a pretty famous one. Tommy Harris was a big one. You mentioned Adrian Peterson, Derek Johnson, Nick Benito, and Ronnie Perkins. I think were 2 that were heavily recruited by Texas,
Did
correct?
Benito really consider Texas? Because he was a Florida kid. I guess it wouldn't shock me, but as I recall, it was OU and Louisville.
Jamarcus McFarland out of the North Texas area at one point. I believe he was a 5-star coming out. Here's an interesting one that a guy that is still playing college football that OU and Texas, I guess, battled over, and he really never made an impact at either place, never made it on campus to OU. How about Cam Rising?
That's right. That's right. Committed to OU, flipped to Texas, signed with Texas, spent just 1 year at Texas, as I recall, and then he was off to Utah.
So OU lost in 2022, and that was a pretty big moment for the Colton Vasek recruitments, and that one was always going to be kind of an uphill battle for them. But really the question is this. Does the result of this game really matter with anyone that's out there in 2025 that we can immediately think of?
In 2025, probably not.
Hard to think of anyone right now in 2025. Like, obviously, if Fasusi was still uncommitted, then that would it could really, or if Fasusi was on Flip Watch or anything like that, maybe potentially. That does not seem like that's the case.
Yeah.
The better class would be 2026,
Correct.
if that would be the answer or not.
Correct. And so if you look at it from that standpoint, you're thinking, okay, well, Drew Evers is a guy that really, really likes OU in Texas, which is interesting because his mom attended Texas A&M. So he's got Sooner ties, he's got Aggie ties, and then Texas is very heavily in the mix.
Did I see some LSU stuff for him last week? I don't know if he's going on a visit there soon or what. But
yeah, he does plan to visit LSU as well as Ohio State. Felix Ojo is another one. Really, really likes OU, really, really likes Texas. Grew up a Texas fan, actually, but that hasn't clouded his judgment in the slightest. He really likes Bill Bedenbaugh. Likes the fact that Oklahoma was very, very early to the table with an offer, but Texas means a great deal to him as well to have that offer, though it didn't come until much later in the process. And so those are a couple guys that you should look at. How about Isaiah Williams, 4-star safety out of Fort Bend Marshall? That's an OU, Texas, and A&M battle, or so it would seem. So there are many, and maybe they haven't really completely taken shape yet, but you can count several guys in that 2026 class that seem to be favoring OU or Texas early. And Fasusi, we talked about Fasusi in the 2025 class, that being a big OU Texas battle. It was over quickly, and so maybe people don't recall that this was an OU Texas battle. But how about Cortland Guillory as well?
Yeah, it was.
Cortland Guillory's top 2 was OU Texas.
Yeah, forgot about that one. I mean, you'll probably remember Michael Fasusi, and he is the biggest kind of OU Texas recruit when it came down to it on either side, I think. But yeah, Cortland Guillory is another really good one. Marcus Dupree says a texture from the 405. Yeah, that's a good one. That was detailed in a 30 for 30, the greatest that never was. The Waffler says, don't forget about Lloyd Christmas. I will never forget about Lloyd Christmas. Not that Tassili Akana, we look at him as the one that got away, but It was just fascinating timing. And it was just another real punch to the groin that day after Peyton Bowen committed to Oregon. OU didn't even have a hat on the table. And then Tassili Akana later in the day on signing day picked Texas over OU.
Yeah,
so I won't forget that one, Waffler, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Peyton Bowen thing has already happened. That's done. That's over, so it seems. And then Cecilia signs with Texas over Oklahoma, and in that moment, the entire fan base is going, everything sucks and this is terrible. And then, of course, Peyton Bowen signs with Oklahoma the next day, and at that point, no one cared anymore about Cecilia.
Oh, yeah.
No one cared anymore.
The sting of that, like, I was so numb after that one anyway. Like, oh, God, Cecilia Connor, whatever. Still the craziest recruiting 24 hours or however many hours it ended up being from signing day to that moment, but still the craziest thing I've ever seen OU-wise in recruiting. It's insane.
That might be the single most bizarre 2 days that I've ever spent on the job. The Bowen/Akana fiasco the one day, and then the double flip the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Bonkers.
Toby said, not Roland, Texas is the reason God created the middle finger, and Quinn Ewers is a window licker. So he had it two right there, did Toby. Didn't want to have just the one. Had to throw in there at the end, oh, by the way, their starting quarterback is a window licker there. Very nice.
Zach from the 405 says, I'm sure we've discussed AD, but what about Trent Williams? Was Texas in on him?
I don't remember if he was coming out of, oh, my gosh. Why am
Longview.
Yeah, Longview, Texas. Jeez. He and Malcolm Kelly and Taylor Tatum. Because I think he was a 3-star coming out, Trent Williams. Not that doesn't mean that Texas wouldn't recruit him, but he wasn't of the 5-star caliber out there in East Texas, necessarily. But, yeah, ended up being one of the best offensive linemen in OU history, if not the best, and one of the best still today in the NFL.
He turned out all right. Who was OU's offensive line coach back then?
Was Kevin Wilson technically the O-line coach at that time?
I couldn't tell you. I was young then, but
Alex from Manford says, Derek Jeter wore a gold thong for good luck in one game. Ewers wears a gold thong when he hangs out with Manning for good luck every day. Boy, we are really getting personal with this hate, aren't we? That is true. Derek Jeter did wear a gold thong one time to try to get out of a hitting slump, and he hit a home run in his first plate appearance. So,
Travis from California asked, was CD ever in on Texas? To my recollection, no, not seriously. It was LSU. It was OU-LSU, and he actually decommitted from OU in order to take a visit to LSU, but ultimately ended up committing back to Oklahoma anyway.
Wilson in the 918, one of the biggest ever was AD, a.k.a. Adrian Peterson. That's true, Wilson. I mean, that's in terms of great OU recruiting wins over Texas, AD is in the top 3, and he may be number 1 on that list. Especially since, I think at one point AD had aspirations of going to play at Texas. I think that he admitted that maybe when he got elected to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame or something like that, right? It's like he said something to that effect.
Yeah. Oh, here's a deep cut. You remember Peyton Kirkland?
The offensive lineman? Yeah. Did he end up committing there?
He did.
Yeah, that was a weird deal.
Because it was, I can't even remember. I think his Final Four was Miami, Florida, Michigan State, and OU. And then he didn't end up being a take any of those places, and so he needed somewhere to commit. And so he committed to Texas sight unseen. Had never visited before. Spoiler alert, he lasted 1 year there and then transferred to where else but the University of Colorado.
Yeah, well, Texas, I believe, is sitting at 6 right now in the recruiting rankings. OU sitting at number 7. They got Jonah Williams, which is a big get for him. Is there a thought? Because I totally checked out on that recruitment. Been checked out on a while on it, really, because, I mean, the writing was on the wall several months ago that he wasn't going to OU. Is there a thought that he's going to play baseball? Have you checked in on that one? Or is the thought that he's going to go to –
It's always been, yeah.
I mean, but is he
you're
going to
talking
go
about
to draft?
pro baseball.
Yeah, is he going to the draft?
No, I expect him to enroll at Texas.
All right. We'll see what he does there for old Sark and David Pierce's staff down there down in Austin. Reform Sooner says Earl Campbell was a big one in my day.
Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah,
we mentioned him. Drew from Plymouth said Jacquez Petaway. We mentioned him as well. There have been some really good ones over the years. Even recently, there have been some really, really good ones. Smith Orugbo very recently in the 2025 class. That one went Texas's way.
How about Michael Hawkins and Quinn Ewers doing a Dr. Pepper commercial together?
Yeah.
Have we seen upset people about that one, or is it
I
just
have seen upset people?
Yeah.
Back in my day, quarterbacks at Texas and Oklahoma hated each other.
Well,
they weren't doing no commercials together.
I do think Michael Hawkins, I don't know this for sure, but growing up the OU fan like he did, I'm sure he has plenty of disdain for the University of Texas. Now, will he wear it on his sleeve like Baker Mayfield did? Probably not. It's hard to do that to the level that Baker did, but I'm sure that there's quite a bit of hate there.
Relevant to that conversation and that individual, how about two more notable OU Texas recruiting battles over the years? One being Mike Hawkins Sr., and the other being Michael's younger brother, Malik Hawkins, who was very heavily considering Texas at one point.
Yeah, so the younger brothers, Malik Hawkins and then Eli Bowen, those both were OU Texas final two, right?
Yeah, Eli was down to OU Texas. That's right. I'd spaced on that one, too.
740, I really wanted Alfred Collins, but believe he's a legacy, and that was always an uphill battle. That's from a texter from Ohio. He's a D lineman.
I saw, and I didn't realize this, but I saw the other day a photo of Shane Buechele's entire family. I guess Shane Buechele came from an OU family and chose Texas. So there was like this picture that I saw somewhere on social media where it's literally every other member of his family, parents, siblings, all that, wearing OU hoodies and shirts.
Well, his brother Garrett Buechele played third base, I think, on the World Series team, College World Series team in 2010. Was that
I believe there's another Buechele on the baseball team this year, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
But yeah, Shane's in the middle of all of it, throwing the horns up with his Texas pullover on.
LaDonna from Lubbock says, Michael Hawkins looks way more cool in the Dr. Pepper commercial. Zach from Clinton just says, Dr. Pepper is mid. Dr. Pepper is mid, says Zach from Clinton. He's using this opportunity, this NIL opportunity, to take a shot at Dr. Pepper.
I tell you, you get off soda, you'll never go back. Trust me, I did it. You can do it too.
I'm seeing stories out today that, hey, after this past weekend where Florida beat UCF of all teams and Arkansas upset Tennessee, maybe the seats are cooling down a little bit for one Billy Napier and Sam Pittman there at Arkansas.
Let's not kid ourselves. Billy Napier is fired.
I think
Billy Napier is highly fired. Who might not be fired is Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman might have, well, I think he's got to win a couple more. Got to keep this train rolling a little further. Sam Pittman might have bought himself another year. Billy Napier's a dead man walking and has been for a while.
Yeah. You know, like before the year, we theorized like how crazy of a college football season this could be with the new 12-team playoff and more teams in the SEC and more teams in the Big Ten. Do you remember the year that everyone compared this to before the season? Like, hey, this year could be like 2007 all over again. Remember the 2007 year, how crazy that was? All those upsets that happened? I mean, we're kind of at a pretty good pace right now to match that 2007 season that a lot of people say is the craziest in their lifetime.
I mean, Boston College was the number 2 team in the nation at one point that year, as was
Matt Ryan,
USF. Yeah. So, and West Virginia, too, by the end of it. So
all West Virginia had to do was beat like a 4-win Pitt team.
That's right. They lost. It was like 13-9.
13-9. They lost at home, and I think McAfee missed a couple of field goals in that game. That really hurt West Virginia in that one. And two lost LSU. Goes on to win the national championship against Ohio State. And where did LSU get to play? Surprise, surprise. They got to play the national championship game in New Orleans that year. How convenience.
And they won it. Chris in Wyoming says, pseudo fight up here in the Northern Rockies yesterday between Sooner and Longhorn fans. Hilarious watching a bunch of elderly folks have a cane fight. No joke. Sooner lady won, by the way.
Chris, why were you not filming? Why weren't you like everyone else in this country? When a fight breaks out, you don't help. You just get your phone out and start videoing it.
Chris is too noble of a citizen, dang it.
Gosh, I mean, there's some things that happen now that I just absolutely cannot stand. I even think I heard you mention this. Maybe it was yesterday or last week.
Oh, yeah, it was last week. I was talking about
as a society, if a fight is going on, we don't help. We don't help and step in and help.
People film it.
I want to film it and put it on my social media.
People start using it for clout.
But, Chris, this is the one situation where I wish you would have filmed that and sent it to us on the text line. I would have endorsed that. I would have encouraged it.
Brent from Jenks is trying to start a mega debate. He said, Parker, we say pop in Oklahoma. Soda, LOL.
I agree from Brent on that. I still say pop.
Yeah, well, I'm not from here, so give me a pass.
Pop is Coke. And what is Coke? Coke is Dr. Pepper and everything else. That's what it is. 405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We'll get to more OU Texas, some more recruiting, what's going on exactly with 2025 and 2026 with Oklahoma, and, of course, your responses as well on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line and YouTube Live. I'll get to those as well. More to come next right here on The Ref.
Beat Texas Week on The Ref is brought to you by Boyd Street Ventures. Visit BoydStreetVentures.com to see how Boyd Street Ventures is bringing OU innovation to the world. Boyd Street Ventures, under the radar, above the crowd.
Hi Norman, it's DJ Newsom with Alliance Bank, your community-driven, friendly neighborhood bank. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, lead a nonprofit organization, or just someone seeking a better banking experience, we've got you covered. From business to personal banking, we tailor our services to suit everyone's needs. We believe in making banking easy and enjoyable. Visit our Norman location or call us today at 405-286-5750. Alliance Bank, banking tailored to your needs. Member FDIC.
What are you waiting for? If you're anything like me, that question keeps you up at night. So don't wait for someone else's green light. Do the things you love right now at More Norman Tech. We'll get you out of the classroom and into the real world with hands-on experience and whatever feeds your fire. So get after it. Oklahoma needs more doers, and doers don't wait. More Norman Tech, powered by Oklahoma Career Tech.
It's OU Texas Week. And does the Ref have you covered? We start your OU Texas Friday off right with a T-Row in the Morning Show with Toby Rowland and TJ Perry. Live from the OU Alumni Association's Beat Texas headquarters at the Omni in downtown Dallas. Making the mid-morning trek down to Dallas this Friday? Be sure to visit Chris Plank at Ardmore's Therapy to Go, just off I-35, to stock up for all your pre-gaming Red River needs and a chance to get some free Ref Army swag from 9 to noon. Then we go back to the Omni in Dallas at noon with Parker Thune until 3 for the Steelman and Thune at noon and Locked In. And finally, Teddy Lehman and Tyler McComas of The Rush wrap up our Friday coverage from the Omni. Beat Texas Week on The Ref is brought to you by Boyd Street Ventures. Visit BoydStreetVentures.com to see how Boyd Street Ventures is bringing OU innovation to the world. Boyd Street Ventures, under the radar, above the crowd. The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Capital City Safety and DXP understand that safety requirements are constantly evolving. Join us on October 10th as we host our 4th annual Safety Expo, located in the Centennial Building at the Oklahoma City Fairgrounds. Over 50 vendors will be on site providing safety products, services, and advice. Enter to win an exclusive raffle prize when you pre-register at OKCSafetyExpo.com. Capital City Safety and DXP look forward to seeing you at the Expo.
Hey Sooner fans, Caleb Kelly here from Mitchell's Jewelry. Choosing wedding bands is an important purchase, and when it was time, I was happy to find a team at Mitchell's Jewelry made it so easy. I had a great experience and was so glad to see their tremendous selection. They really listened to me, and I couldn't be happier with my choices. If you're looking for a jewelry store with top quality selection, competitive pricing, and the best customer service, go see the team at Mitchell's Jewelry. Check them out on your socials or visit them at 2201 West Main Street in Norman. Boomer Sooner.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Hey Sooners, I'm OU alum and Boyd Street Ventures founder James Spann. The Sooner season is underway, which means it's time for the Boyd Street Ventures Under the Radar Player of the Game. It's time for you to consider investing in BSV. Our portfolio has 16 innovative, under-the-radar, Oklahoma-connected companies. If you want in, the sooner the better, as our fund closes December 31st. Check out our portfolio at BoydStreetVentures.com. Boyd Street Ventures, under the radar, above the crowd.
Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Bringing this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones is family owned and operated, established in 2020. But many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. They sell Buicks and GMCs, which are some of the best trucks and SUVs on the road. That's Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Tell me if this means anything to you, anything at all. It's fine
Okay.
if it doesn't, but I'm just looking at games recently in this series that have been decided by one score, okay? Last year was decided by one score. OU won the game by 4. 2021 was decided by one score. OU won by 7. 2020 decided by one score. OU won by 8. 2018 game 1 decided by one score. Texas won by 3. 2017, OU by 5. 2016, OU by 5. 2015, Texas by 7. 2014, OU by 5. OU is 6-2 since 2014 in games decided by one scores. Anything? Nothing? Does that give you more or less or more confidence at all if this is a close game on Saturday?
I mean, I think it's going to be a close game on Saturday. Either way, because again, outside of 2022, it's been a one-score game for a decade straight. We've come to expect this, and I think you're going to see the best version of Oklahoma on Saturday. Whether that is good enough to beat whatever version of Texas we see, I don't know, because ultimately you can play your best football for 60 minutes, and you still might get outplayed. But maybe, just maybe, your best football involves forcing Quinn Ewers and Texas into a couple of the crucial mistakes that are going to swing the game in your favor.
1984 OU on YouTube says, if Sooners can contain the long pass plays on defense, the game will look so much nicer and on the scoreboard. Keep the Tex sucks receivers in front of you. That is the thing. If there's anything that concerns me defensively on Saturday, and look, Texas is a good offense. Like they're going to hit on some big plays. I think OU's defense is really good, and they're going to play well, but Texas got a good offense. What's the thing that concerns me the most for OU defensively in this game? It's that Texas will get one-on-ones on the outside, and OU's got to be better covering some shots down the field than they were against Auburn. A couple of those Auburn receivers made some really good plays in those one-on-one spots, but Texas receivers are going to be more than capable of making those plays too.
Clinton Tulsa wants to know, do we know what number Jacoby will be wearing Saturday? 19. He's going to be wearing number 19. Cade McIntyre has switched from 19 to 86 in order to accommodate.
Yeah, I was like, who's 86 out there during the Auburn game? I'm like, oh, yeah, that has to be Cade McIntyre. Duh.
There you go. But let me ask you this. What if Oklahoma just turns this game into a rock fight? What if the fourth quarter rolls around and it's like a 10-10 ball game?
I mean, is that not ideal?
I think that is ideal.
I mean, seriously, that is absolutely ideal in this game.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that Oklahoma could put up 30 points or more on Saturday. But I also think, like, if you turn this into a stalemate for the majority of the game and you take it down to the fourth quarter and put the onus on Texas to break through and put the onus on Michael Hawkins to break through at the same time, I feel like that's a recipe for victory.
This is a bad comparison because like OU is the exact opposite of the program than they were in 2018, the first game against Texas. But I don't think that OU could win a game like that, like it was in 2018, where it was back and forth like that. Of course, OU got down a few scores. In my opinion, their best chance to win this game is in a rock fight, like you're talking about, where Texas can't get into a rhythm offensively. OU's defense is really controlling the game. Like, that is an ideal – I mean, that's the perfect situation heading in the fourth quarter. A 10-10 game like that where Texas can't get into a rhythm offensively, and if you get them in that situation in the fourth quarter, then I think all the pressure is already on that Texas sideline, even more so in a game where they can't get anything going offensively in the fourth quarter. That's when you feel really good about your chances, going in the final 15 minutes if it's a rock fight like you're saying. Okay, Jim in Arlington says, I hope Ewers passes the ball several times to give Oklahoma's defense more opportunities for turnovers.
And I don't know if this has been talked about enough. This, to me, is something that could very well play in your favor. What if Texas can't run the ball consistently against Oklahoma?
Well, and I think that's a real possibility.
Well, because nobody has been able to this point in the year. Oklahoma's run defense has been exceptionally strong through 5 games. What if Texas can't crack that Oklahoma front seven in the run game? What if it takes a strong performance from Quinn Ewers to win Texas this football game? What if Ewers has to go win you this game with his arm? Can you trust him to do that?
That's the situation you want to be in. I'm sure that's the kind of not the exact blueprint, but clearly what OU's looking to do on Saturday. I mean, whoever runs the ball better in this game normally wins it. But if you can make this Texas offense one-dimensional where nobody else has, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for them, obviously, for sure. And, man, if they can just make this into a rock fight like you're saying late in the fourth quarter, that'd be massive. And as I'm kind of thinking back to it now, the first 5 games that OU has played, the defense/special teams has either scored a touchdown or given the OU offense an incredible opportunity on the plus side of the field, right? Temple, they had the Jaron Canick touchdown. Houston, they had
the safety.
Did they get a safety in that game?
Yeah, the Grayson Halton safety.
I guess I was thinking of, too, the possession late where they give the ball back to the offense and the offense didn't do anything with it. They missed a field goal on that drive.
Oh, the Robert Spears-Jennings pick,
yeah. The Tulane game, R. Mason Thomas had the play. Tennessee, 2 opportunities there for the offense. And then, of course, the pick 6 against Auburn. So every single game so far this year, the defense/special teams, mostly the defense, has either scored a touchdown themselves or said, here, offense, here's the ball with a great opportunity to score. Go do it.
And
hoping they do that again on
Chunky
Saturday.
Chuck says, give me Ewers having to throw to win. RMT will cook. And think about that, Tyler. What did R. Mason say when that Auburn game went final? What did he say in postgame? He said, where my life gets the easiest is when I know the opposition is getting ready to throw the ball, and I can just pin my ears back and unleash some hell off that edge. And so if it becomes apparent in this football game at any point that Quinn Ewers is going to have to drop back and find answers through the air, then R. Mason Thomas and that Oklahoma pass rush, that's where you can expect them to come alive.
405 says Auburn didn't have an issue running the ball. They made the defense look average again several times throughout that game. I could see why you would think that, but if you go back and look at the final numbers, Auburn ran for 3.3 a carry.
Yeah.
OU actually had a higher yards per rush average than Auburn did in that game, which is shocking.
Yeah, statistics I would not have expected were real. But there were some chunk gains for Auburn. There were also a lot of runs right into the back of an offensive lineman or right into a waiting defender for a loss of yardage.
That's what this OU defense can do, man. They can put you behind the sticks in a lot of drives. And even for an offense as good as Texas, it's not easy to deal with when they have the pass rushers and they have the personnel defensively that they have. And, hey, let's bring up, something else that we talked about the entire week leading up to the Tennessee game. Remember what we were saying defensively before the Tennessee game? Well, OU has not shown something, but they're going to show something different than they haven't shown all year against Tennessee. And they did. And it worked out great.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably going to happen against Texas, or at least a variation of something that they haven't shown up to this year. What is that going to be, and how does Texas handle that on Saturday?
Trace Ford is a one high deep safety.
Hey, played the cheetah all right, didn't he? Played that position pretty well.
Brent Venables talked about that in his presser earlier today. He said, Trace a lot faster, a lot more athletic than people understand. He can play that position.
Des Garrett on YouTube says, your best isn't beating Texas without some Texas mistakes. To which Les Wilson just responded, Texas is overrated. So we got a nice little back and forth there, which I love.
Yeah, and look, sure, it'll take some mistakes by Texas to win this football game. I mean, in general, the team that makes fewer mistakes is going to win. That was the case last year. I mean, there's generally a direct correlation between turnover margin and the outcome of the football game. If Oklahoma can win the turnover margin, and that's another area in which I think Oklahoma is poised to excel, because Quinn Ewers will turn the ball over every now and again. Michael Hawkins, 6 quarters so far as QB1, no turnovers. Tyler, not a one.
Yeah. And hasn't really come close to turning the ball over either. You know what I mean? It's not like he hit a defensive back right in the chest at Auburn and the guy just dropped it. It hasn't really come close yet, and that's going to have to be the case. And that's maybe what I've been most impressed with him thus far in the very limited amount of football that he's played, is that no one would deny that Michael Hawkins has played very aggressive. I mean, he landed on his head in the second half of the Tennessee game. He goes airborne against Auburn, right? So I think that he's played aggressive. I don't think it's been timid or anything, but yet he's been able to play pretty aggressive without putting the football in danger. And those are two things that are going to need to happen again on Saturday.
KW918 says our offense just makes it hard to be optimistic Saturday. We had 3 years to prepare for a primetime national TV home game against Tennessee, and we didn't just lose. We looked completely incompetent. Hard to see all that changing because of a bye week. Excuse me. Might I suggest this, KW? Your perception of the Tennessee game is drastically skewed by the performance of a quarterback that is no longer in the starting lineup. Take Jackson Arnold's 3 turnovers away. I don't know if Oklahoma wins the game, but you're walking out of that building feeling very differently about the way that game went down.
One-star EJ from Louisiana says Peyton Bowen breaks a long punt return and sets up OU for a winning field goal. Again, this is another week. Well, I'm willing to extend your prediction before the year.
This is 3 weeks of grace now.
3 weeks of grace. Yes. Come on, Peyton Bowen. Set up something big on a punt return, please. Hasn't happened just yet, but this would be a heck of a time for that to be the case. 432, what a terrible take from that text, says 432 Sooner. Old Chris from San Diego says constant pressure and constant hurries on Arch Manning is the key. Do you know something we don't know, old Chris? Do you think Arch Manning is the getting pressure on him is the key to this game?
Shoot, all I'm going to say is if Arch Manning was going to start this game, Tyler, I'd think he would have been the one in the Dr. Pepper commercial, right?
That's true. Quinn Ewers loses his spot and his commercials as well, NIL opportunities. Zach from Guthrie says, I'm a huge supporter of playing the field position this game. If we have a chance to pin them inside their own 5-10 and let our defense after them, I think not only does that give them a chance with the short field, but I think we have more than a 50% chance to come out of there with points and get the ball back. Luke Elzinga. This is a Luke Elzinga game is what Zach from Guthrie is saying. He could be very, very massive on Saturday.
He could be a major weapon in this game because I do think there will be a field position dynamic. There will probably be a couple instances throughout the game where these two teams trade punts for a little while, and it is a field position deadlock, if you will. And if you recall, this is the game last year where Luke Elzinga emerged. I don't know why he didn't start the season as Oklahoma's punter, but it was Josh Plaster. And then Josh Plaster gets the punt blocked against Texas, and Elzinga gets the call, and he's been nails ever since.
Oh, my gosh. Last year's game, is that what we coined, the Plaster disaster?
Yes. Courtesy of Mike Steele.
The Plaster disaster was last year, and OU was still found a way to win. Unbelievable. JD in Tulsa says Jackson Arnold had nothing to do with the dreadful play calling the first play of the game against Tennessee.
Okay, yes, you're right. That's also one play call. Like, again, I'm not trying to say Oklahoma played well against Tennessee. All I'm saying is your perception is very different if those 3 turnovers from Jackson Arnold are omitted from the equation.
No chance, and I will eat a double cheeseburger if OU wins. Oh, that was out of nowhere. Oh, okay. I got you down, 405 texter. Don't you try to escape us. I'll be expecting to eating that double cheeseburger if OU wins.
Turban Meyer said, 3 years to prepare for Tennessee. I love my wife, but she needs to stay off the text line.
We'll end on that one. That's a pretty good one, Turban Meyer. Awesome interaction on the text line as always. Apologies that we can't get to them all, but we love you all equally. Well,
we do.
Most days, at least. Most days, that's the case. We got 3 more hours of OU Texas.